A little girl knelt quietly in the last pew of a small church tucked into a quiet neighborhood. The late afternoon light filtered through stained glass windows, casting colors across the empty wooden benches. She wore a faded pink dress, her dark curls tied up with a ribbon that had lost its shine. Her tiny hands clasped tightly, her eyes squeezed shut, and in the softest voice barely louder than a whisper, she prayed, "God, I just want a dad for mommy." In another corner of the church, a man sat in silence. No one noticed him enter. He often preferred it that way. In a crisp designer suit with polished shoes, he didn't fit in with the modest simplicity of the place. But there he was, alone and restless in his heart, a man who had everything money could buy, except peace. His name was Nathan, 42, successful, CEO of a global tech company, and on paper, everything most would dream of. But success had come at the cost of solitude. Years of boardroom battles, cold hotel rooms, and hollow parties left him empty. He had no family, no one to share his quiet victories or comfort his silent nights. And on this particular day, his car had broken down nearby, and on a strange impulse, he'd wandered into the old church, seeking something he couldn't name. And that was when he heard her. Her voice, so innocent and sincere, cut through his chest like no executive's pitch ever could. He watched her from a distance, uncertain whether to move or listen. Her prayer continued. "Please God, mommy cries when she thinks I'm asleep. She tries to be strong but I hear her. She works 2 jobs. She's always tired. She tells me not to worry. But I do. I miss seeing her smile. I don't want toys or birthday cakes. I just want a dad for her, someone who will love her like she deserves." Nathan's throat tightened. There was no drama in her tone. No performance. Just pure, unfiltered longing. It was a prayer of a child who had seen too much and hoped anyway. The girl, named Lily, had only recently turned 7. Her father had left when she was still in diapers. Her mother, Clara, worked as a waitress during the day and cleaned offices at night. Despite the hardships, she never complained in front of her daughter. She told Lily stories, sang her to sleep, packed her lunches with handwritten notes. But children feel things, and Lily, wise beyond her years, knew her mom was hurting. That evening, when Clara came to pick her daughter up from Sunday school, she found her still sitting quietly in the pew. "Come on, sweetheart," she said gently, reaching for her hand. Lily smiled and skipped up, hugging her mother around the waist. Nathan watched them go. Something stirred in him, a pull he didn't understand. He returned the next Sunday. Then the next. He never approached them, he just watched from afar, sometimes catching glimpses of Clara's tired but kind smile, the way she held Lily close, the quiet strength in her posture. It moved him more than he expected. One day, fate stepped in. It was raining hard. Clara was struggling to juggle an umbrella, Lily's backpack, and a grocery bag that had split open on the sidewalk. Nathan, passing by, instinctively rushed to help. "Let me," he said, picking up cans that had rolled away. Clara looked up, slightly startled but grateful. "Thank you," she said, brushing wet hair from her eyes. "That's a lot to carry," he said kindly. "Let me drive you 2 home." She hesitated, but something in his voice told her he wasn't just another stranger. Lily, recognizing him from church, beamed. "It's him, the man who sits in the back." Caught off guard, Nathan chuckled. "I've been caught," he admitted. Clara looked between the two, still unsure. But after a moment, she nodded. During the ride, they talked. What began as small talk about the weather slowly became laughter, shared stories, and a quiet understanding. Nathan didn't flaunt his wealth or success. Clara didn't dramatize her struggles. They just connected. He began spending more time with them. Reading to Lily, helping Clara with chores, making dinners that filled the home with warmth. He saw in Clara the kind of resilience that couldn't be bought. She saw in Nathan a gentleness beneath the suit, a man quietly healing from his own loneliness. Months passed. On Lily's 8th birthday, he gifted her a simple necklace with a tiny angel pendant. "You were my angel," he told her. "You showed me something real." Her eyes sparkled. "Does that mean you'll be my dad now?" He looked at Clara. She smiled, tears welling in her eyes. They married in that same church. Not out of pity or urgency, but out of love. Real, tested, patient love. Nathan adopted Lily. On the paperwork, where it asked for the reason, he wrote, "She prayed. I listened." Years later, Lily would write about that moment in an essay for school. "When I was little, I asked God for a dad for mommy. I didn't know someone was listening. But now I believe God doesn't just listen to prayers. Sometimes, he sends someone to answer them. Their story wasn't perfect. There were challenges, adjustments, past scars to navigate. But it was real. It was proof that love can begin in the most unexpected ways, that sometimes, all it takes is a moment of quiet courage, a whispered prayer, to change lives forever. Today, Nathan no longer runs a company. He volunteers part-time, mentors teens, and spends his mornings making pancakes. Clara writes poetry again, something she had long given up. Lily, now a teenager, sings in the church choir every Sunday. And in that same little church, if you listen closely, you might still hear a child's voice whispering hope into the silence. Some stories begin with a fairy tale. Theirs began with a prayer. This tale, though fictional, is a reflection of real emotions, real struggles, and the enduring power of hope. Every day, someone out there wishes for a miracle, not of gold, but of love, kindness, and a second chance. You never know who might be listening. Let it remind us. Be kind. Stay open. And never underestimate the power of a child's prayer.